So hey, welcome back to another episode of No Socks. This is episode 13, right? Yep. Yeah. Is it 13? Okay, anyway, it's either 12 or 13. I'm pretty sure it's 13 though.
Let's go.
We're here though. I'm your host, Pat. This is Kate, Sith. Sorry. Joining us today are the Clever References, or at least two members of the Clever References.
Yeah, two clever reference.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Ash. I play guitar and sing for the Clever References.
I'm Sam. I play keyboard for the Clever References.
He does so much more.
That's cute.
As we always like to start this off, how was your journey here?
Journey specifically to this place?
Could be anything. Could be anything you want. But yeah.
We took the train. There was two people arguing very loudly. It was kind of disturbing, actually.
Laughing in a really weirdly.
Wow.
In a train, bro.
The whole way.
Wait.
The whole way.
Oh, you said laughing, not arguing.
And arguing.
Wait, why were they laughing?
No, they're arguing about something, and then they laughed together.
Oh.
It was pretty incoherent.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing.
It kind of beats like.
You asked.
I did.
I mean, Michaela and I were on like the tram, and like there was just this lady. Like first we smelled nail polish, which was just really weird. It's like someone just started painting their like nails or something.
Bruh.
So it was really strong, but then like there was just this lady that was just like, hurry up and everything, and just like
With
the guy
the manicure?
Oh yeah, the manicure. No, I think they were just like saying hurry up to like the tram driver, but it's like, we're gonna totally just there's a crossing and we're totally gonna run people over.
Have you ever been in a tram on a hurry?
Yeah.
It's scary.
Like they stop. You mean the tram driver who's like trying to make up
No,
lost
like
time?
tram driver trying to make up lost time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like after a gig, going home from the Whole Lotta Love, which is like kind of sort of our home, our home gig.
Yeah.
It's literally in a song. Taking the 6 from Flinders Street to the Whole Lotta Love, which is of Melbourne, Victoria. I think the tram driver just floored it going home. I think just like ignoring tram stops. You know what I mean? Which is fine because I needed to go to Flinders anyway. But I was seeing people getting left behind. I was like waving bye. So like he was pretending they were there. I don't know what the deal was. This is pre-COVID, by the way.
Oh god, I just
2019.
had a flashback to just like, if you ever play like Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 2 and like like the zombies, like it's like that bustling transit thing, and it's just like goodbye,
Bye.
as you just But we're not here to talk about COD, so we're here to talk about your band.
Let's go.
Yeah, I guess we addressed the physical journey to hear this podcast today.
The literal journey, yeah.
How did the spiritual journey start?
So as you know, our ancestors started 80,000 years ago, right?
Yep.
So what happened? No, actually, so that was part of a talk by Uncle Kucha Edwards yesterday on the JMC rewrite songwriting
Yeah, the
thing.
rewrite. Yeah.
Yeah. Super not relevant to what we're talking about right now.
We'll get into that
We'll
soon.
come back.
But I guess you're asking for like how the band started.
Yeah, how did the band start?
I'm not Australian. I'm Indonesian. So the literal journey was from Indonesia to here. I came here to study for the AMC exam. So that's just like a test like all med students have to do if they want to practice here, essentially. Like Australian Medical Council, AMC.
Yep.
Tried doing that. Got bored when I wasn't studying because you can't study all day. You just burn out. So I decided to go to open mics.
Okay.
Actually, day one I was here, I went to an open mic.
Did you just go?
You just got off the plane.
I got off the plane, open mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I literally sorry, narrative's a bit jumbled. I knew Melbourne was a music town. Part of the reason why I wanted to go to Australia is because I wanted to be a music person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Kind of sort of fulfill my potential that I had in med school. Because in med school, I had a whole other music project, made like an album a year for 7 years or whatever. Not relevant now. But I wanted to start over in a new place with an actual scene. Not saying that there isn't a scene over there, but it was so inaccessible. We'll talk about it later.
I mean, well, very briefly though, it was just like we
Sure.
talked about it before. It's just 2 hour public, like 2 hour drives to any kind of place.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like the problem with the music scene in Indonesia, Jakarta specifically, is that it's kind of inaccessible. It's like it's a 2 hour drive anywhere. So the city is not so functionally the city is just from where you live to where you work, and it's a straight line
Okay.
of your transit. So you can't go, like, if you stop somewhere, that's a 1 hour layover, you know what I mean? In a sense.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So like the guys who make it in the Indonesian music scene tend to be from the same literal geographic location
Oh.
because they hang out.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Yeah, yeah. it was
But I couldn't hang out with them. So
Yeah. Wow.
you know what I mean? But in Melbourne, public transport, I want to go to an open mic at the Lyrebird Lounge. Well,
Lyrebird?
Lyrebird, yeah.
Lyrebird Lounge.
Lyrebird Lounge.
Lyrebird Lounge,
In St.
yep.
Kilda. I'll just take what's the tram? The tram that goes down there.
Tram 1 to East Coast. No, actually, that's the East Coast boat.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah.
just take up a tram, you know what I mean? That's why, like, the first Clever References song we've ever wrote is literally taking
The sixth.
the six from Flinders Street to the Whole Lot of Love. Speaking with Evan, like something about a gig. Did we practice enough?
Practice. And
You know what I mean? That's the literal lyrics to
What's
that
up,
thing.
Melbourne?
Yeah.
Of Melbourne, Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was my love letter to how accessible everything is with a tram.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
I love that.
Yeah. Like, that's so. Yeah, Melbourne. I knew what Melbourne was. My sister went here, so I knew that there was open mics. I knew there was trams. I knew everything was accessible. Like from day one, I wanted to obviously pass the medical exam and stuff like that. But on the other half, I wanted to do music.
Yeah.
There's just so many opportunities to do it here, you know? And like, I don't think people realize, like, even like from the JMC Academy people.
JMC Academy, yeah.
Yeah, even the JMC Academy people, the people going to the songwriting stuff, like they're so, because they're approaching it from an academic perspective, like songwriting is this, they have coursework, etc.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They don't even realize that they can actually workshop their assignments in open mics to see actual people react to them,
Yeah.
which I would do if I was them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just like open mics isn't gonna give you money, obviously. Literally an open mic, anyone can
Yeah.
go up there. But for
Although-
stage time,
Yeah.
I think there was actually one where it was like there's an open mic competition, and then if you did actually win that open mic competition, you could get like kind of paid to go to.
That's like the Evelyn.
Devlin Hotel.
I don't know
Yeah,
which
right?
one, but like there is that. But
Yeah, some
yes,
people-
most of the time they are. Yeah, it's just a
It's-
free entry, free.
And like,
open mic.
I met this guy.
Yeah, we
At an open.
at a mic night.
Because
Yeah.
I actually saw. I was just like, it's like how long have you been? And I saw that you had an episode of it. Are we going there yet? And I was like, when did you guys meet? How did this happen?
Hang on. So that's chronologically after I met Evan. So let's
Yeah,
get
go
back
for
to it later.
I'm just like,
So
Yeah, so you did open mics and
Open mics.
so when you got here.
we did a song, and literally one guy came up to me and said, "Hey, if that song gets produced, I think it'll be a really, really big hit or whatever." Like a punter, you know what I mean? Just someone who was drinking, but I saw was like paying attention to me. I only had one song, by the way. Literally wrote it that day because I never memorized my lyrics.
yeah.
So I wrote it that day, printed it using not Snappy. What's the printing place there? Not Officeworks. Something. Some
yeah.
service. I forgot.
Okay.
So I printed out the lyrics. Oh, I didn't print it out. I had to read it from my phone.
Oh no.
But that's the thing. Like, you come here, you with a rinky-dink teleacoustic knockoff. Like it's not. It's a really bad guitar, by the way. People would come here and say, "What do you need? Do you need a place to sit down? You need a mic." Very welcoming. The open mic scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that kind of sort of encouraged me. And obviously, like after the thing, the punter came up to me and said, "Hey, if you really produce this might go somewhere." And I was encouraged ever since. So like obviously, like the next step was trying to make a band. That's instincts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was thinking like, what's the most practical thing? Let's just make the White Stripes. You know what I mean? Just get a drummer, Black Keys it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, that's the reason why there's a lot of Clever References songs that's just 12-bar blues. Because that was the period where I only had the drummer. So how I found the drummer was through a shitposting group.
Okay. Okay.
Are you familiar with implying we can discuss music?
No, I haven't. Does anyone know that one?
There's a group
Implying we can discuss music.
Yeah, implying we can discuss music. It's a shitposting group. I think at the time it was mostly death grips memes.
Anthony Fantano sort of style.
I don't think. I think that's just making fun of the hypercritical, hyper thinking about like popular music, giving it a light 7 to a heavy 8 or whatever, a strong 8 or whatever. No offense to this guy, God, but it was just the fun we do, right? Here's the thing, though. I didn't find him in the English, implying we can discuss new music. I found him in mengimplikasikan kita bisa berdiskusi musik, which is in the Indonesian version.
So we found the Indonesian version. Okay.
So there's an Indonesian version. It's worse. But here's the thing. I'm in a lot of shitposting groups. The other shitposting group no, this is not a shitposting group. Are you familiar with Melbourne love letters?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
No, not Melbourne. Sorry, Unimelb.
Unimelb love letters.
That makes more sense.
Flyer boy.
Yeah. So in Unimelb love letters, there was a post. Of someone writing an open letter to her oppa, saying that she's gonna keep the baby because he's gonna look like his oppa and she's gonna take care of him, and the oppa doesn't need to do anything.
Oppa means father, by the way, or lover, actually, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I think colloquially it means like really handsome Korean idol person.
Yeah, okay, but.
It's fucked up. Anyway, I posted that. So one of the things that we like to rag on in the Indonesian music shitposting group is how is K-pop. How a critical assessment of K-pop. Well, I don't want to get the BTS army on me this fast.
Please don't.
This part of my career.
We like press, but we don't like that press.
So I'm not gonna say my opinion on it. I'm going to stay neutral in that war, okay? But we posted it, and some guy named Evan Keith in this Indonesian shitposting group said, "Kok bisa ada di sini?" Which literally means, why is this here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I contacted him and says, "Hey, I'm in Australia." I'm in Australia, said Evan. Oh, you go to Unimelb? Yeah, I go to Unimelb. Do you play the drums? Yeah. So we just made a band.
Wow. Oh my God.
It's such a random chance encounter that I'm like, what?
It's fucked up. Yeah, it is.
That's just something
So, so that's how you met Evan. And so you formed a duo.
Yeah, from a duo. We banged out White Stripes tunes of Melbourne, Victoria, one of them. Big Side is another. We got we made. I usually if you caught me like a couple of months ago, I would like totally tell you all the songs that we did. But like obviously we're like a bit more serious now. We have plans, so we're gonna keep that under wraps for now.
Yeah.
But a lot of White Stripesy types of bluesy type of stuff.
Makes sense because I was listening to Of Melbourne. It's got that. It has a very kind of I'm like, it does have that kind of yeah, white
That's the
stripe.
limit of my guitar playing, right? That's the absolute limit of my guitar playing.
Okay.
And like, I was like doing these gigs, and I was quickly running out of ideas. Not a guitarist, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like, not a guitarist. I wouldn't call myself like a guitarist performer. I play the guitar because I need to accompany myself singing. I would consider myself more of a songwriter than anything else.
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
And like, not a day goes by that things like maybe the Clever References, which is the band, could be better if there was another guy playing guitar, and I could just play chords when thickening chords in the chorus. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So yeah, I was quickly running out of ideas and stuff like that, and we did this open mic at RMIT. An RMIT thing. Winds of Power to Change. Yeah. And I met Sam Barrows of Gallagath.
Barrows. Okay.
Welcome
What
back,
was your
by the
impression?
way. Did we acknowledge that? It's good to see you.
Yeah. I don't think I joined the band at that point.
No, you didn't.
This is
we were just
have
friends
met
at that point.
yeah.
Evan's here, by the way. Just now.
I thought you went to go get him. He's like, oh.
He's here?
He's coming.
Awesome. Evan
Yeah.
will.
Evan that we just like
Right through.
spent like 5 minutes talking about.
Evan, something talk about.
he's a real person.
He's a real person. Anyway, Sam.
I didn't
Do you
have
remember
anything else.
that night at all?
Or the power. Yeah. No, that
Was that your first gig also?
No.
No.
I done a few. It was pretty early though. It was like maybe like it was in the single digits at that point.
Okay, so very early in Gallagath 2.
Yeah. Like
Gallagath 2.
I've already released a second album.
Nice.
But,
Oh,
I
so
appreciate
it's
the-
been 3 years actually. Evan Keys. We've been talking about you. The shit posting group, Unimelb Love Letters.
Oh, yes.
How do we?
Which mic is he?
Be on my... Okay, but if you could like go kind of in between Sam and
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Awesome. Oh, so we're talking about the RMIT gig. Everything is fine.
Open night.
So,
open night.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
open
yeah,
day, not open mic.
Yeah, it's an open mic night. So like, I met him. Very cool guy, Sam.
Yep.
I knew I needed to get to know this person, but I didn't know necessarily that he was going to be in the band yet. That was like way later, like a couple of months later. So that's how I met Sam. Evan, you good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All good.
And yeah, so there's one more band member that I think we haven't talked about.
Have you met Mel at this point? Do you know
No.
of no?
I have seen Mel's picture, but I haven't met Mel.
Wait, what? Wait, so what?
So are you familiar with the website bandmix.com.au?
Are we ever?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's not how we met.
Brandon, I mean, we don't know much, but Brandon knows a lot, you know?
Oh yeah,
Like,
he's like band mix god.
he's something of a band mix user himself, so...
So yeah, bandmix.com.au.
Yeah.
It was around that time. Yeah, we need to be a real band. I'm not as talented as Jack White, actually. So like, we tried to find a bassist. There's a very pretty girl with a pretty profile picture. Her name was Melisande. You know what I mean?
Okay, sure.
And
Alright.
there was a couple other bassists that we were looking at. Male, female, all kinds. Non-binary too. So we sent like very polite emails. Hey, I'm Ash from the Clever References. We are looking for a bassist. We have this amount of material, but we're not locked to it. We're willing to jam, etc.
Okay.
No response from any of them.
Something someone else can relate to.
Yeah. The hit rate tends to be very low, I would imagine.
Would you like to be on another episode of just band mix discussion?
Band mix.
But yeah, so your hit rate was super low.
Hit rate was the super low and 0 is the right hit rate on that thing for us actually.
It's just like people put their stuff on.
However, a couple of weeks later, I saw a post in every Melbourne muso's favorite FB Facebook group, Melbourne musicians.
Let's
go.
Melbourne musicians. Yep.
About a band named Astro Tim, where they were looking for a gig. They were looking for support for their gig. And I said, yeah, sure, cool. You know what I mean? Like, where the clever references, again, it's the very diplomatic email comment, I would say, because it's Melbourne musicians, everyone can see.
Yeah.
And at this time, I think we had like 2 Spotify singles, which is of Melbourne Victoria and Big Sad, I think.
Yeah.
Turns out when we showed up to the gig, the bassist looks familiar.
Okay.
At the time, I was already doing my podcast, Muso Chatter,
Yep.
which I'm trying to get Patrick
Trying to get me
to
onto
get
it.
on. Yeah. But that's neither here or
Yeah.
there. And so, like, my whole deal is, like, every band that we play with, we try and get a 5 to 10 minute interview about saying where they are, where they're going, right? And, like, when I interviewed Astro Hib, when everyone was introducing each other, I just sprang up like, hey, do you check your band mix emails actually? And then Mel was like, no, I didn't.
Oh.
And then after the interview and stuff, Mel came up to me and says, I'm actually looking for a project. I'm really bad with non-actual emails because Bandmix is a whole different ecosystem and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah.
So we started jamming. The clever references.
Wait, so you haven't? Wait, you?
Sam's not in it yet, though.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys caught me right as I was like holding a sneeze in.
Okay.
So, like,
You can unleash.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't think the audience wants to witness that.
There's an audience for
Just
that.
sneeze
So Sam,
ASMR.
why did we need you? So Sam, why were you the only one that we needed around March 2020?
So
In the mic.
I studied into the mic,
Yes.
not away from the mic.
No, not away
Okay, all right.
from the
Okay. Actually, this relates to the big thing.
The big thing.
big
yeah.
thing.
Bro.
So I was in my second year of sound production at the start of 2020. This was before the unnamed thing that happened that changed a bunch of people's lives. By a bunch of people, I mean pretty much everyone's for about 18 months.
Still is, actually.
Still is.
Kind of.
I had like free access to RMIT Studios for my sound course, pretty much. And I was like very much in the mode of let's record as many people as possible. Let's really get my skills up. Let's make a name for myself. And I think did I send you a message?
Yeah, I think so.
I
think you posted one of those. I need to record something for an assessment.
Like a Melbourne musicians.
yeah,
one.
on Melbourne Musicians, everyone's favorite Facebook group.
Yeah.
Yeah, you posted something,
Yeah. And
and I said, "Hell yeah!" I'm not gonna say no to free recording.
yeah.
I mean,
so-
like we were kind of sort of friends.
Yeah, we'd like hang out at mic nights. Like we went to each other's shows and stuff. Like, we were in contact.
Cool.
We're on contact. So when Sam said like, yeah, I have a studio free. Do you want to be recorded or whatever? With the catch being, like you have to set up everything yourself, right, or something.
I think it was very much like we got to do everything. I'm an amateur. I'm probably gonna mess it up in some way.
Yeah.
It's free. It's free recording.
So it's like just a studio. Period.
Yeah, it was a good studio. Like it was.
Were there, Evan? Did we end up using our crap snare, or were there snares there? Do you
Oh,
remember?
I cannot remember, honestly.
There should have been a drum.
There
were drums
I think
there.
there were drums there. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there,
yeah.
Oh, I guess they would have had to have been.
Well, at least,
yeah.
like, I know that we at least didn't have good cymbals at that point, so the cymbals at least must have been supplied. The snare I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
So,
the camera's
yeah.
there.
Oh,
The camera's there.
Sorry, I was like, fucking little.
Sorry.
Never mind. Anyway, so like we had an empty studio. We had drums, but we don't have anything else. So like Mel had to bring in her Fender Rumble. I had it's actually the amp that I'm using today, which is the Roland Cube Street. I still gig with that, by the way. So people are rolling with like rectifiers or like Marshalls, AC30s. Oh, mate, what are you doing? What are you using? Just a Cube Street for rock. Yep.
It's versatile.
Not even the
I don't know.
EX. It's the Cube Street. I mean, because like you can mic stuff these days.
You could, so you don't really. I mean, that's like the whole meta now with amps, right?
Yeah.
It's like just get a 15-watt amp and then just like put a
Put
mic
it a
in front of
mic, put a good mic on it,
Yeah,
like an
'cause-
SM58 or whatever.
because it's easier to for people like who don't know that stuff.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's just like because like because these days like people don't want to carry like
I've actually-
like twin reverbs because they like cost they cost a lot, but like
And break your back.
they break your back, and so it's a common thing where they're just like we'll just get smaller amps and just put a mic in front of it.
I've gigged to
Not gonna give anyone noise complaints and like break their eardrums as well.
like I've gigged to so like Mel uses like a HX stomp, which is just like a pedal that simulates
multi-effects,
Multi-effects thing.
Yeah,
I've gone on TV. I've done gigs to 50 people, 100 people using a Moon Pop Rock.
I saw that on our equipment list, and I do not know what the heck that is. What even is that?
A Moon Pop Rock is a Chinese amp simulator thing. I think it's cloning the original Pod Bean. This is way too technical for a general music.
I know
podcast.
what I know what that red thing, right?
Like the red thing.
Yeah,
the red thing
circle
everyone
things.
hates. It's a clone of that, but it's smaller and $30 US. So it's like 49 or 45. Still though,
Yeah.
for the price of half of a tuner pedal, I've entertained 100 people
Wow.
in a rock band with a distorted sound.
Okay.
So sometimes like I think like gear's great, but it's kind of sometimes like, hey, come out, do a support gig. Oh yeah, I don't want to drive or whatever. But like the clever references, we don't have that luxury. I think we're the least mobile band in Melbourne.
We have one person that can drive out of the four of us, and she lives in Belgrave. So
We're like the least mobile. Like this guy just
Yeah.
bringing snares and cymbals. Like I mean, like it's good that he lives in Brunswick right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's
like
Also,
literally
sorry.
50 meters from every venue that's relevant ever. But still, you know what I mean? We're like the least mobile band in Melbourne. I
Like
think.
how does that as a question, Evan? Like, it seems to be like this kind of curse with bands, and just like the drummer just doesn't know how to drive, and so like how have you managed to like
what's up with that?
how have you managed to go about that? Like,
Well, there's a box that's magical, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the
Magic box.
cajon helps. I guess also, I can transport snare and cymbals when necessary. I've just kind of tried to avoid it, I guess.
yeah,
And yeah, we've played mostly historically venues within kind of the city and inner north area, which
yeah,
makes it easy for me.
Yeah,
So, like, I think we had this conversation earlier. We're doing the most that we can with the gear that we have, and also time and resources.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I see like other bands the reason for other bands like refusing gigs or refusing to do a thing would be like absurd to us. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, our drummer can't make it out because he can't drive, and says, well, there's a box that can provide percussion, you know what I mean? Like some bands are kind of sort of like married to a vision of a sound.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we need like a full 2 guitar attack with like smashing drums, and that's kind of sort of their brand. Whereas like the Clever References brand is just our songs. You know what I mean?
that's the clever way of thinking about it. Sorry.
Like
Yeah,
like the Clever References brand it's the 4 of us. It used to be 2, now 3. It used to be 2, then 3, then 4. And I think we're gonna stop at 4. Maybe in the future someone is gonna add something. I'm not gonna say no. Never say never. But currently it's the 4 of us. We got the songs. We'll perform it any which way we know how. And if it's gonna be a cajon and a guitar through and a moon pop rock, and this guy with a MIDI controller into a laptop that's not made by Apple. You know what I mean? No diss. You do a lot. We do a lot with that gear. We do so
you get a lot
much
of
with that
mileage
gear.
out of it.
We get as many mileage as possible.
Yep,
And
the
we-
miles that you would have to
Yeah,
drive.
yeah. But like, I'm pretty confident that if we got to rock up, because the thing about the Melbourne music scene is the infrastructure is so good. And what I mean by infrastructure is like, you might take it for granted, you guys who live here. And
I know I do technically. So yeah.
yeah. So like, you rock up to any bar, there's a mixing desk that's very good. The PA is good. The monitors are good. Every bar here is kind of sort of ready for live music at like that. You know what I mean? Which is something you don't have in Jakarta and even Darwin, right?
Oh, I mean, in Darwin they have mixing desks.
I'm not saying like in Darwin they have the happy yes is what I mean.
Yeah, no, but there is kind of one venue where a lot of people play, and that's kind of it. Like, there's not that much diversity. Like in terms of like literally, there's not much diversity because there is like one venue. If you're wanting to play to a more kind of, I guess, broad crowd and a crowd that is, younger and stuff. Like, there are venues for kind of more club type scenarios and stuff, and other venues where more, I guess, adults only bands tend to play, but there's not that much variety.
Yeah. So like the point being, me, outsider, Indonesian, coming from Jakarta, inaccessible music scene, Darwin, only the happiest, right? Relatively speaking.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys, this is a scene, you know? This is like, I know some people say it was better, but your worse is heaven for us. That's just perspective. You know what I mean? But the way the Clever Partisans got the way they got with the lack of gear and resources and driving people is just knowing what we can do, good songs. Yeah. Trying to deliver it as best as we can. Ideally with a full backline and a drum kit and stuff like that. But we're not going to cry if we don't get it.
Okay. Cool.
I think that is a massive thing that stops people from going out and pursuing a dream, or especially just music, being like, I don't have the gear to do this. I know I've used that excuse a lot in the past as well. Like, I think we're both guilty.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely guilty of that, but yeah.
And it's like, I think the more that we can reassure aspiring musicians of this, the better, because money's tight sometimes. Yeah.
And that reassuring environment exists.
Yeah, definitely.
Open mics, bro. That's why we wrote a whole song about it. Yeah. We're so indebted to open mics. Like, if these people are gonna sound like the most random people in the world, but they are kind of sort of integral to where we are right now. Like Captain Justina, for example. Like, look her up. Runs the Lyreborough Lounge. Open mics, regular. First open mic open after COVID. There's the Andrew Grant used to run.
He was fantastic.
Used to run the Whole Lotta Love every week. We used to go there every week, right, Evan?
Yeah, pretty much.
We used to just like, hey, we wrote a new song. Let's test it out. Sometimes no one would come. Sometimes everyone would come. Who cares? We want stage time, right?
Okay.
So, and like Woody's had an open mic, a lot of Drunken Poet, which was the first open mic we got. Open mics, very important. Like, if you're unsure for material, just go for open mics. And they're very accepting of backing tracks, so it's fine. So if you're just going to go there with a backing track minus your guitar, or I'm talking to you specifically, Pat, I guess, minus your guitar and vocals, do it. They don't care.
That's something
what I mean?
that I haven't.
I've been meaning to, like, these last few weeks. I'm like, I definitely do want to actually start going to some open mics.
Because one, it's receptive and appreciative. They will talk over you because they're there to drink. It's fine. But that builds up your stage time, thick skin, etc.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be as confident right now doing a podcast. And you were asking earlier, are you ready for the performance? Yeah, I'm a rock star. You know what I mean? But that's the confidence that comes from like the open mic, starting to entertain people that weren't there for you. Yeah. And now is there for me at the end of it.
Cool.
Us, I should say. Yeah. But I used to do open mic singular, so all good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to quickly say, just for a second, before you said Woodies, and if anyone saw me go like this, it's because I was looking at Sam's shirt. Because
if anyone can have a good look at this shirt, it's just
Video podcast content only, I suppose.
it's, if you're listening to the podcast, it's really worth it right now to just switch to
open up.
video.
Yeah.
I just really like that shirt.
I just noticed that Spotify's video podcast. Now, that's insane.
So
Whoa, I was surprised to see that for like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. I think it's new, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Pretty new.
It's been like a couple of weeks only.
Joe Rogan. I think Joe Rogan needed that. I think that was part of his deal. Like, I want video on Spotify. Okay. Maybe that's purely speculation.
Yeah, we talked about, so now we've had the story about, the band coming together. You recently went to, so you guys were on TV.
Yeah.
And you're going to be on TV. This is released on Wednesdays, so I hate to do this, but
It's going to be on YouTube, so there's going to be an archive of it.
Yeah.
And we're going to post it.
On Tuesday, so the day before today. Yesterday.
It was great. You should have been there.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Do you want to plug that in?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's going to be, it has been released. It was on the air yesterday.
It's on air.
It's really hard to talk about it. Anyway, so we did a segment for In Pit Lane, which is a motorsports focused show on C31 Melbourne and Geelong. So we did that before, right, Evan?
Yeah. In 2019.
Yeah. So, like, by the way, that's another opportunity. Again, Melbourne musicians, favorite FB group for musos ever. Just randomly, like, Leanne, the booking agent for that show, said, "Hey, who wants to be on TV?" Me. You know what I mean? Like, I have no shame, dude. Like, I'm an outsider. You're gonna put me on TV, bruh? You know what I mean? Why the fuck not? Right?
Cool.
And so, like, we went on TV. We did 2 songs. They didn't let me do my effects, so I went in DI. Who cares? Imagine going DI on TV. I did it. I lived it. Anyway, sounds great. My guitar's awesome. Anyway, Mac DeMarco does everything DI by the way with a chorus pedal. Anyway, yeah. So they obviously stopped when the thing happened. COVID happened.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, before when you first mentioned, I was like, "What was the thing that happened?" And
Yeah, I was so confused. I was so confused about the unnamed thing that happened at 18.
Yeah,
I was like, you're not talking about this TV thing. You're talking about COVID, and I'm like, oh, it sounds.
Anyway. So everything got hit, including this TV show. So they only just returned these months.
Yeah. Okay.
And they contacted us. Do you want to be back? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? Because like after the show, I kind of befriended the host, Brett Ramsey. Very, very awesome, underrated host. You're doing community television. He's been doing it for years now. You know what I mean? Like decades. And like we're both wrestling fans, so we ended up like just on Facebook, like doing wrestling memes or whatever. Professional wrestling. Sorry.
Is that why you recently, like, of the day we get recording, you just, like, today, I think, or the day before, you released that top 5 WrestleMania?
Yeah. So, like, that was like content I had triggered for WrestleMania weekend. It's doing pretty good on TikTok, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm not gonna explain it, but it's a whole bit. So check us out on TikTok. It's there. The clever references. We're very lucky. We're very lucky no one's took the clever references when we did. Because I'm pretty sure someone has. It should be a taken thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think it'd be very obvious to name a thing the clever references.
Yeah.
Nope. It's all us. It's all us.
That's great. That's
super great.
even if I just hear the name, the clever references, I'm like, "Ooh, I want to hear this."
Yeah,
Without
yeah,
even
yeah,
hearing
yeah,
the music.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot in a name.
Like, like we were figuring out band names, right? Like, so my old band name was Short End Fanatics, Gallagath. I think Evan has a electronica thing.
I do indeed.
What's the name?
The name is Fish Slapper with an
There
A.
we go.
Yeah.
They're all good projects, and obviously, like Gallagath's kind of sort of a no socks veteran at this point. But yeah, so like what we noticed was Or any other band names, by the way. REM, U2, Machine Gun Kelly, or whatever. Dashboard Confessional. These are all just clever references. So the clever references, we made the band name, dash band name, the original band name. Just like a band name that describes all band names. The clever references.
That makes I was gonna ask
great.
how the name came to be, but you've just answered it yourself.
Yeah.
It's just that I'll never stop repeating that line of thought because I just can't believe no one's thought about it already. We did though, that was Indonesian for like c'est la vie. There's no English equivalent.
Yeah. It's a good phrase.
Yeah.
So how? I don't know. I don't want to derail anything.
Oh, good.
How'd
We have a new
you-
single coming out.
Yeah.
I am also a podcast host, so I know how this works.
Yeah. Like, that's a good point. You should just teach us. We should have had an episode of how to podcast.
How to podcast, anyway.
And the clips of how not to is just clips of me going.
Hey, now, don't do that.
Tell you what, I can also go, yeah. Count how many ums and yeahs I say in this. I just want to let the audience know. I know, guys.
I am aware. You have a question?
Oh, I don't know. Just in terms of songwriting, is that like, because where does it come from for you, and when did it begin?
So, like,
There's so much here.
all good.
Exciting.
So I wrote a lot of bad songs, and the newest one is always better than the last. And that's how I came at our newest single, Will We Ever Meet Each Other Ever Again? And the next song after this is going to be better than Will We Ever Meet Each Other Ever Again?
Okay.
I have a question though about that. Is that what defines when you say you've written a lot of bad songs? How do you define bad? Like your songs being bad?
My bad songs is the songs I written before the current song.
So okay, but like, is there anything in particular that you find bad about it that you would say, or you just like
I would just recognize the minor improvements of the new song.
okay,
You know what I mean?
cool, yeah,
Just like a philosophy to keep driving you to
It's more of a philosophy.
going.
So like
yeah,
They're not bad songs.
yeah. It's like this was like
They're good songs.
all right.
So like I mentioned that I had a whole other project when I was in Indonesia, right? And originally, I think, Evan, we were going to continue shorthand phonetics.
Yeah, shorthand phonetics to Australia Boogaloo, I think, was the original concept.
That's irrelevant to anything. But with shorthand phonetics, I mentioned that I wrote like 7 albums in 7 years.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, did everyone else know this? What?
But that's because, like, sometimes some people play video games, some people do that. And keep in mind, when I was in med school, I was like in the village type med school. 2006, 2007 didn't have internet access necessarily. Like for internet access, you would have to go to an internet cafe.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like for internet.
Yeah.
Just internet. I didn't, phones didn't have internet back then, right? There was still a BlackBerry, if you remember that.
Very
I'm old.
vaguely.
But yeah, we didn't have internet. So all I had was my rinky-dink laptop, a webcam mic. I just recorded songs. I recorded so there was a music studio. So I just recorded full drum tracks with a webcam mic.
Wow.
Everything
Okay.
with a webcam mic. It's still around. I didn't delete it. It's going to be there forever. I think we're going to release a compilation album of that at some point. Not relevant today. I'd prefer if we talked about the new single very soon, actually.
Yeah. Definitely.
But there was just something in me. You know, like outsider music, Evan.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was doing it. I was doing outsider music. And are you familiar with that term?
Is it as in being outside of the mainstream?
No, not only the mainstream, but being outside of what people think music making is. Stuff like Daniel Johnston,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So outside, I don't know who that is.
It's literally like the most naive form of art making. Like for example, here's a not naive approach. I want to be a songwriter. I go to JMC Academy. No offense. Just an example. I go to JMC Academy to study songwriting. I get to know the music industry people. This is not a naive way to make a career out of music.
Yeah, it's informed.
The naive way would be getting a tape recorder, recording your songs, and giving it to people for free.
Okay.
That's the naive way.
Okay.
That's outsider music. That's what I was doing. So like I was just doing music, putting it on the internet, and at the time there was like a big movement called net labels or whatever. Obviously made irrelevant with Spotify.
I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a whole big movement on net labels in Indonesia. Like I was part of a label like Yes No Wave. So there was a kind of sort of receptive community around people that didn't really want to interact with the mainstream music industry, and even like the cool indie music industry. Like we do. It's not like we didn't want to touch it. I definitely wanted to touch it, but I didn't have access to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still have songs. I still do music. What else am I going to do? I'm going to put it on archive.org. Right?
The best place.
Best.
SoundCloud for the people who really know where it's at. SoundCloud is just too mainstream.
Archive.org, seriously. Net labels, look it up. All the most wonderful music in the world that is not interacting at all with what you would think is the music industry. I was in there. 7 years. 7 years, 7 albums. Wrote, I want to say like 100 songs, 120 songs, all recorded through that dumb webcam mic. The one webcam mic.
God.
It got better when I discovered, oh my God, addictive drums exist? Which is like a drum sampler, right?
Yeah.
So like I didn't have to record drums through a webcam mic because I can't drum. I try. So yeah, I've never had no one said no to me. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I wrote a song, no one said no. I just released it. That guy liked it, commented one time. That's encouragement enough for me. And like I think like part of the kind of sort of like sometimes I would interact with maybe like even Sam, you know what I mean? Like Sam and stuff like that. Like Gallagath is very good. You know what I mean? But when I interact with Sam is like there's just a fear of people telling it you suck, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't have it. I was privileged in a way. I was privileged in a way that I wasn't in an environment. I was in med school. I wasn't in an environment where people were judgy about your music because they weren't judgy about anything. They were just focused on the test tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
People didn't give a fuck about me, but my music at least. So I didn't stop. I got better. It's not like it's the improvement from song to song. Like every new song, I discover something new. You know what I mean?
I guess what I want to ask then is, with this new song, what did you discover? Like, what did you find that the improvements you made compared to your last song, and why do you like it so
like
much
originally I was just aping Oasis. Oh, the E minor 7. That's awesome. This is Wonderwall. Cool. So like one of my first songs was literally just inverting the Wonderwall chords.
Okay. Yeah.
And we have a song, I think.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall. We have it, but we haven't put it into the release cycle. I don't think we'll ever do it. I think it's just going to be a B-side somewhere down the line. We have a song called Anyway, Here's Wonderwall, and that's just a songwriting exercise. Just inverting the Wonderwall chord and see what top lining that.
Just experimenting.
Re-top lining that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like most of the songs is just how much fun can I do, and like that's kind of sort of the ethos of the clever references of the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what if we made a song based on a meme? Oh no, I'm in danger, right? Or like what if we made a song that the title's literally just the chorus. Will we ever meet each other ever again? You know what I mean? So every song has their own kind of sort of like inside joke that's not really that important to the superficial enjoyment of the song. But if you know the story, then you have I know why that song is. You know what I mean? Back to the pre-clever references days. Yeah, and then I just got to a point where I was like at song 120 or whatever, and says, so like internet started being accessible. So I was sending it naively sending it to Sub Pop Records or whatever, you know what I mean? Whoops. Sorry.
Sorry.
Mel,
Hey.
you're outside?
Hi. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's a house. Is that it?
It is a
I
house.
believe it's a house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're recording the podcast now.
Okay.
This is going to make it, by the way.
All right. See you soon.
See you soon. Yeah, that's Mel, by the way.
Yep.
So,
All four of us made an appearance.
all four of us might make an appearance. This is going to be an
Sure,
over one.
her introduction will be at the end of this podcast. But yeah. So everyone ended up showing up on the podcast, actually.
Yeah, everyone ended up showing up at the podcast, actually. What were we talking about? Sorry.
You were just talking how you ended up putting your music
Oh yeah,
on
yeah.
live
Internet
and
started becoming
sub-
accessible. So
yeah,
like I
Pop
sent
Records.
the stuff to Sub Pop Records. They didn't respond. Obviously, who the fuck am I? But I did send them to Indonesian people. And like there was this writer in a newspaper that decided to do an article about me. So weird, right? 7 albums, 7 years. You don't think about it. You just release it for free. I'm like Indonesian General Johnston. But that was like the context of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, oh, my songs are good. That's cool. You know what I mean? So after that, I started having access to the traditional indie stuff. I wanted to be on a label, etc.
Yeah.
But that was turning out to be like impossible. Again, it's the thing. Every drive is 2 hours. Hey Mel, how you doing?
Hi.
Sit down with Evan, I guess.
The quota was reached.
The quota was reached. Yeah, I'll fast forward through this bit. So I started interacting with the music industry, found it impossible, and then I became discouraged
Okay.
when I didn't have access to the Indonesian indie music scene. They loved me. I know a lot of people in the indie scene. I know random names Australians will never know. Marcel 3 from Saja Makat. I know Eric Wijanata from Death Rockstar, which is like the pitchfork of Indonesia. I know those people. They like me. I don't have access. I can't gig with them. I can't hang out. That's why I'm very appreciative of the tram system here and the train system. Hey, record a podcast in Clayton.
Yeah.
Get on. Listen to an argument on the train. Who cares? But I'm here with my band doing a podcast. And doing other promo stuff for our new single.
Yeah. This has just gotten really wholesome. So, I guess that's like the wholesome thing to leave this podcast with, really.
Yeah.
Be appreciative of your
No,
tram
like,
system, but also
no.
But-
I'll say this much. I'll qualify. Things can be better. Don't just like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Let's not improve it. No, improve it. This is like the same conversation we have public health, which is what I'm studying right now. The conversation that we have in public health is that, yeah, things need improving. The elderly are being left behind because there's this paradoxical thing where they need more resources, but their pension, so they get less money.
Yeah.
So things can definitely be better, but guess what? Australia's leading in public health, and the discussions here is making better. That's why Australia's the place to be for me, at least. You know what I mean? And it's the place for Mel. She's French.
It is, yeah. I've been living here for like, I don't know, almost 10 years now. But yeah, love it.
We're all kind of sort of immigrants. Well, except this fucking
Yeah.
guy.
I've been here for a very long time.
We're taking you for the ride, guy. Let's be rock stars.
some might say since the
Let's
beginning.
be get in. Let's be rock stars.
It's the Mean Girls bit.
That's a Mean Girls
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, for sure.
It's a clever reference.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not a clever reference if call it out.
Sub clever reference.
Sure.
An okay reference.
An okay reference.
A standard. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah. Well, any last words?
I don't know, Mel. How's your journey?
Yeah, very good. It was only like half an hour away from Belgrave, so perfect. I thought it was in the CBD or something. So, yeah, I was quite happy when I saw I didn't have to travel too far. I was like, yes.
What do you think about being in the Clever References?
What do I think? Well, yeah, I'm still excited to be part of it. Even though it's been over 2 years, and we spent most of it apart, really.
Because of the world event, by the way.
The world event that I forgot about. Which I'd say that's, and with your latest song, is that there'd be a lot of that wholesome energy in there of.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we've been through a lot in terms of that kind of stuff.
COVID's like almost integral to the story of the band.
Yeah, COVID's kind of sort of integral to the story of the band. Like, will we ever meet each other ever again? Duh. That was what we were wondering when we were writing that song. But now we've released it.
Even wrote a song called Quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I want to forget about that one. Oh my god. I wrote that song when I thought quarantine was going to be like 3 months. No, it didn't.
Yeah. Fun times.
Glad to have we're originally only going to have 2 Clever References members, but we've managed to get all 4 on the podcast.
Full package.
But yeah, glad to have you guys on the podcast. No Socks, and this is Ash, this is Sam, this is Mel and Evan.
Yep.
I've been your host Pat. This has been Kate Sith. And this is the end of episode 13. I hope that's the number that we're actually on. Is it? Okay, good. All right. So, anyway,
Thank
bye.
you for being here, guys.
Yeah.
Need to clap. Need to clap.
But if you enjoyed this, episode of No Socks, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. Even though I think a lot of you guys are probably tuning in on Spotify and Apple Music, which, is also great.
I think follow is the call to action for Spotify.
Follow, yes. Yeah, there we go. It was for YouTube, and then it went to Spotify, so.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise, that's been it. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.